Parents play a vital role in their children's development, and the success of every children depend on the foundation that their parents they have imparted into them. All parents have responsibility to play when it comes to raising their children, for nobody will do it for them. This is going to launch us in today's show. Hi guys, welcome to The Broken. My name is Akinnola Florence, and the topic for discussion today, last week, or let me say the previous weeks, we've been talking about child's development, how to bring up an healthy child, a well-behaved child, So today we'll be talking about, it's a question, and I want us to argue it and come to a conclusion about it. And the topic says, who should be blamed for a child behavior? And you know, when we talk about behavior, it can be good and it can be bad. But mainly we'll be focusing on the bad behaviors. Who should be blamed for a child's behavior? The parent or the child? The child. We know children they tend to make a lot of mistakes and exhibit some bad behaviors. But who should we blame for this? The parent or the child? I want to welcome everybody once again to the show today. It's your show, our show, The Broken. And we've been talking about children for some weeks ago now. We've been talking about child's development. And today, our topic for discussion, like I said it's who should be blamed for a child's behavior? Is it the parent or the child? Should we blame the parent or the child? And that's what we'll be discussing today. I want you guys to drop your comments in the comment section, what you feel about it. Should we blame the parent or the child for the bad behavior? It's a normal thing, or it's common when a child is doing good behavior in school or in the society. You see parents, they will be happy, and they will like the comments that is coming from outside, from people outside to them, like, ọmọ yín ṣe dáadáa, your child is doing good. In fact, we need to meet your parents. Every parent wants to hear good reports about their child. Every parent wants to hear good comments about their child. But when it comes to the other one, the other one, the bad behavior, the parents will be like, and I trained you, and I do this, I did that, but look at what you have brought. You have brought shame to the family. You have no parent or anybody or guardian would want to reckon with that child when it comes to bad behavior. Now, before we get there, so who should we blame? Who should we blame? I said something that parents have the responsibility to play. They have their responsibility to play in the life of a child when it comes to raising a child, because nobody will do it for them. There's limits to what the teacher can help in raising a child. There's little to what the neighbors or friends or adults around can help in raising your child for you. But you are in the best position. You have the legal right, the everything in raising up your child. Nobody will do it for you. You have the responsibility. And effective and proper parenting, it goes a long way in shaping your children, what they will become in future, what they are now, and who they are now, and who they will become in future. And that is why effective and proper parenting is very, very important in the life of a child, and the way that child will affect the society at large. Guys, I really want to hear your comments. I'll be reading a story or a case that happened. I saw it on the social media, and I'll be relating it to us. So I'll be starting from there. I'll be starting from there. And you're going to see the picture of a father and a daughter. The father is a police officer while the child is just a little child in school. I'll be starting on that note, and I want you guys to say something. Who should be blamed for a child's behavior, good or bad? I know when it is good, they give kudos to the parents, but when it is bad, we're going to see it today. Who should be blamed for it? So I quickly want to read what I saw. This is a picture of a daughter, a girl, little girl. This one is even very simple, just a haircut. She's a JSS1 student. Let me just read everything. She is a JSS1 student of Mary Immaculate Secondary School, Hekiti. And this is the haircut and that earned her 20 strokes of cane. She fainted and was rushed to the hospital. Her father, a police sergeant, came to the school with 4 police officers and beat the teacher silly. The school suspended her for the father's atrocity. The parents has sued Ekiti State government, the principal of Mary Immaculate Secondary School, Commissioner for Education, and SUBEB with 15 million naira compensation for gifts. Now, what's your thought? What's your view on this? Who heard? The child, the teacher, or the parent, or the state government, or the school? Who should be blamed? Or what would you have done in this situation as a parent? I believe we understand the story. A little girl of JSS1 had a haircut to school, and the teachers were like, why on earth will you bring this kind of haircut to school? And they beat the little girl, 10 strokes of cane. The girl fainted and they rushed her to the hospital. Now, the father, as a policeman, brought some other police officers to school, and they gave the teachers the beating of their life. Now, who should be blamed? The leader suspended the girl from school. Who should be blamed? Excuse me. A little girl of JSS1. I am very sure the girl wouldn't have been the one who chose the style, the haircut for her. Now, she came out. She came out of her house. The parents saw her. Let's assume that the girl chose the haircut by herself. This is the style I want. She got home. I'm very sure the mom must have seen her, or the dad must have seen her. A little girl of JSS1, I think she should be around 10, 11, or let's say 12 at most. So she's still very, very small to even take some decisions on her own, like hairstyle, haircut. The parents must have seen her, or probably the little girl must have seen that kind of haircut, maybe on the mom or on somebody, because she's from a home. She have a parent. So the little girl, let's assume, I'm going to be talking from the two sides, not now. Let's assume the little girl went to the barbing salon to make that haircut, and she got home. The mom must have seen her, or the dad must have seen her, and I don't think there's anything bad if they ask her to even go back and redo the haircut. Now, that's another case. Another one is the parents might even be the one, or must have been the one, who took her to the barbing salon and select that haircut for that little girl. Now she got to school. Of course, discipline in school. They saw it and they're like, this is not proper. In their own view of disciplining the child, maybe that's why they gave her 20 strokes of cane. which is actually too much for a little girl of JSS 1. The teachers might have, or let me say the teachers could have sent her back home or called the parents instead of beating the little girl. They can even discipline the child, but that was too much for a young girl of JSS 1. They beat her to the extent that she collapsed and they had to rush her to the hospital. Now the so-called parents came to the school with other police officers and beat up the children. Now who should be blamed? I picked this story because it is recent and we can easily understand what I'm saying when it comes to bad behavior of children. I'm going to mention some bad behaviors that children exhibit that the common one that they do and who should be blamed for it. The father came went to the school with other police officers and they beat up the teachers, which is really, really bad. Now, to my greatest surprise, the same parents now sued the state government for 15 million naira. For what? In fact, the parents should even the beating they gave the child should have been given to the parents. I'm sorry to say that. Should have been given to the parents because the child is too little to decide that style of haircut for herself. The mom saw her, the dad saw her before she left home for school. Now, who is to be blamed? Sincerely, on this story, I will blame the parents. Yeah, I will blame the parents. Even if the child wants that same haircut, they are in the position, in the right position to correct her because they are the parents. They have moral and legal responsibility towards their children. That's why I will blame one of the reasons why I will blame parents for some of the bad behaviors that their children display or exhibit, because they have the moral and the legal responsibilities towards their children. If the mom let's take for instance, Adimi, the girl was the one who took the decision of the haircut, the mother would have maybe a little spank or even send her back to the barbing salon, even follow herself. Pay you this girl. Oh, Niyama, come on. Why would you have to go? You know the way mothers do now. She should have, or she would have, returned her back for her to correct the haircut. But no, they did not do it. Rather, they let her go to school like that. And the teachers too, on the other hand, the only mistake they made was 20 strokes of cane is too much for a little girl of JSS 1. They should not even have beaten the girl self, because I believe the child is too small to make that decision of the style of haircut. Even when till I go to SS3, my parents decide the hair I make, the type of clothes I wear, not because they are being harsh, but it's part of morals. They would tell me the kind of clothes, you can't wear this kind of clothes out. It's part of morals that parents should pass into their children. When it comes to behavior and the way they behave and relationship, the way they relate with people in the society, because you cannot always be with your child, you cannot always be with your children. There are times that they will be apart from you. Now, what are they doing? What kind of behavior are they doing? What morals are they doing? Aside from peer pressure, peer influence, I will blame the parents. In this case now, sincerely, all the blame is on the parents. The only mistake the school made was they shouldn't have, or they wouldn't have beaten that guy, the child too much to the extent that she collapsed. That was too much. That was too much. Now the so-called parent that is guilty brought policemen to the well, I'll be like bicycle. In fact, I don't understand what this word is turning into anymore. They brought the father brought other police officers to the school and they beat the teachers. Now, what lesson is the parent teaching that girl at that age? And the fact that they were even wrong in the first place. Looking at the kind of haircuts the girl took to school. Now, they sued they sued the government 15 million naira. Nigeria have called obey. They sued the state government 15 million naira. Is it the school? I'm not going to put much blame on the school because they are trying on their own to do what is right, but they did it in a wrong way. They did it in a wrong way. I will blame the parents. In fact, I'm not going to blame the child because the child is still very young, very little girl. I'm not going to blame the child. Before I leave that case, parents should know that bringing up a child, it requires a thorough comprehension, sincerely, in the sense that your behavior is connected with the behavior of your child. That's just it. The way you behave, children start from the way children learn is they start emulating, they start looking at you. Oh, why is mommy wearing dress? Is it because of that? And you see, at that age, they ask you a lot of questions. Now, the girl must have seen, or peradventure, maybe the mom or the senior ones in the house do that kind of haircut and nobody says anything. Nobody talk about it. Now, thorough comprehension, that is, your character is connected. The way you behave is connected to the way your child behave, or to the way your child will behave. That's just the simple truth. At least the first stage and the second stage, before a child gets to adolescence, a child learns from what you do, what the child sees you do, what they see you do around the house, the way you talk. You see, sometimes children they try to mimic their parents. The way daddy shouts, you see, they can make just fun of it. You see, that daddy can be ugly when he's angry. He just squeeze his face and shout. Like, they emulate, they copy you. They copy you, what you do, the way you talk, the way you behave in the house, your relationship with people. At that age, children still watch you. And it is typically what you do that your child will also do. So, I'm not going to blame the child for anything. I'll put all the blames on the parents. What morals, what are we teaching our children when we do some things? I said when I started the show that parents play a vital role in their children's development. And the success of every children, it depends on the foundation. If the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? If the foundation of a child is being affected morally, it will affect the behavior of that child when he or she is growing up. I'm going to mention some bad behaviors that children, little ones engage in, like fighting, bullying. Even teenagers or preteens now practice some of sexual abuses, sexual assault in school. You see them trying to touch some private parts of their colleagues. I've seen cases like that. I've seen it, like not one, not two, that a boy of DSS2 is pressing the backside of the same girl in her class, trying to touch her boobs, her breast, trying to touch it. So it's not a new thing. is not a new thing. Those are some bad behaviors, like children engaging themselves in fights, like abuse, verbal abuse, trying to pick objects and throw objects at each other, their friends, being aggressive. These are some of the common bad behaviors that children engage in. Trying to dress. Now, let me quickly chip in this. For parents that excuse me, for parents that they don't mind, they say, oh, she's still small. The way you dress for your daughters, the way you dress for your sons, it is very important. If you say they are still little, to you, they don't understand. They don't know what it means to wear a half-naked dress. Don't be surprised that when that child grew up, that little girl grew up, the only dress she will want to wear a half-naked dress that exposes her body, that exposes, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, they are little, and under the name of being fashion, under the name of fashion, you want them, I understand that you want them to look good, to look good, but don't forget modesty too is very, very important. You are saying your girl is too small, your boy is too small to understand what they wear, what they say, what you say to them. Don't be surprised when they grow up, getting to adolescence, and you know that very stage is very, very, very delicate for them. They make a lot of mistakes, and what you've imparted in them right from when they were young, they start exhibiting it. And then I now see parents, they will start beating that child. Wọ́n fẹ́ lu ọmọ pa, ìwọ ọmọ yìí, ó fẹ́ yọ ọmọ bẹ́líálì. Don't give me name that my mother did not give me. When you already gave yourself that name when those children were young, it's not their fault. It is what you have put in them, what you have imparted in them right from when they were young, and that is what they were doing now. And you start complaining, you start blaming them. Stop blaming them. You should blame yourself and check the foundation, what you have imparted in their lives when they were young, before you start putting blame on them. I understand that there are cases of children that their parents actually played a good role in their life, teach them well, but they decide the path they want to choose on their own. I'm not saying they are not children like that, but before you get to that point, it would have gotten to a point that you like, I have tried my best. And there's nothing like I've even tried my best when it comes to parenting. It is when your child becomes good, becomes somebody in future, that is when you can rest. There's no rest for you. Even when your child gets married, you still see parents, they go to mountains, they pray for their child. I don't want my children to. There is nothing like I've tried my best when it comes to parenting. Let us see that your best that you have tried in your child. That is when we'll know that you've actually done a great job. Except for other factors like peer influence, the use of mobile phones, social media, and some parents they give excuses like it is lack of fun. That is why their children are misbehaving. Lack of fun. I was not from a well-to-do family. I was not even born with any spoon. Not talk of golden spoon or silver spoon or bronze spoon. With no spoon. But my mom, ìyá ìbùkún, wọ́n bí ẹ̀dá. Till I said I was not even bold enough to invite my female friends home. Where will you say you where will you say you are going to party? Now I just wonder the courage or the effrontery children of nowadays have, that a girl of 10 years can boldly tell the parent that, Mom, I have a party with my friends. I want to go partying with my friend. What? Even the so-called class party that we do, they must not hear. I'm not saying your children should not be so free with you to tell you their minds up, but whatsoever the foundation you have laid, or the foundation every parent laid for their child, is very, very important, and it has a way of affecting the future of that child. Okay, I still have a lot to talk about, but let me check if I have comments. If I have comments, thanks for the likes and everyone. I have okay, I have people watching, but I'm still expecting your comments. What's your take on this? Who should be blamed for the behavior of a child, either good or bad? I'm sure if it's the good behavior, nobody is to be blamed for hate. In fact, they will give kudos to the parents. That's what they will do. But when it comes to the bad behavior of a child, nobody wants to associate themselves with that kind of a child. Okay, I have some comments. Godwin as Asiegmunem. Okay, my brother, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. I can see you. Thanks for joining, and thanks for dropping a comment. It says blood doesn't lie. The behavior depends if it's genetic. If the behavior depends, if it's genetic, the parents, but if acquired due to peer pressure, the child should be blamed. I said something like there are other factors to be considered when it comes to a child behavior. Aside all those factors, parents should be blamed. Sincerely, parents will say, I've come for them again on this show. Ẹ̀yin lẹ Jésù náà, ẹ̀yin lẹ sọ pé fẹ́ bímọ. So all the responsibilities is on you. Is on you, whether good or bad. Aside for peer pressure, sincerely, the use of mobile phones, access to social media, aside from all those factors, but peer influence, when it is peer influence, then it is the child's fault. It is the child should be blamed. Like what Mr. Godwin said. Thank you. Like your comments really. I have Mr. Ige. Back then, when I was in school, the school will tell you during assembly on Friday the kind of hairstyle you should have next week. Of course, yeah, and some schools still do it. Even private schools that you think there is less discipline in private schools, they tell their kids, their students, what they expect to see in school. So the school have their rules and regulations, and that is why in the story I shared, I didn't put much blame on the school, because they will already have their laid down rules and regulations, and once you go against it, there is punishment for it. So I have Mr. Oluwase. In some cases, child could be trained properly but might decide to choose another path. I have said this. When growing, especially when they go to boarding school or when they get to higher institutions. Now we are talking about children. So I think the age range, let's say we are all children to our parents. To the extent that he or she will no longer be a child to the parents. Even when you start having your own kids, you are still a child to your parents, so they can still correct you as far as they are there for you. So when they go to the boarding school, or so what Mr. Oluwase is saying is that a child can actually decide. We have different type of we have a big core, that is the child you have but you refuse to train. A big core ni akogba, you train that child but the child refused to, like, I have decided this is how I want my life. This is what I want for myself. So that is akogba. Shey you get. So that those two groups, abiko, you refuse to train that child. You refuse to bring up that child in a in a good manner. But akogba, that one used to sound in my ear because my mom used to use that word. Oyakogba, mo kuku kwe. I did what my mom can be funny. I did what I should do as a mother, but ni gbọ́nà ni. You will not hear. Alakogba. Yeah, that's what she used to say. She say alakogba, alakogba. So there can be children. There are some children like that. I have this comment from Miss Olasunbo. Parents contribute to a child's behavior. The prayer is to have a good God-fearing child and for God to help them. That is very important too. In this case, the parent should be blamed. I'm sure if that child should assault someone of her age outside, the parents will stand to defend her if they can sue the government. I think Mr. Ige is referring to the story I shared. Of course, that is true. If the father can go to the extent of taking policemen to school for the child misbehavior, of course, if that child should do something wrong, maybe abuse someone, I'm very sure the father will support the bad behavior of the child, which is not good. I have a lot of comments, but I don't know why I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Okay. I don't know why. Okay. Let me try. Okay, sorry. Wow. Mr. Oluwayomi Temitope, thanks for joining. He said raising children no easy, yo. Nobody said it's easy, of course. Especially when they start growing up, they start asking you questions. They want to know more. So I'm not saying it's easy at all. I'm not saying it's easy at all. I'm not saying it's easy. Raising a child, a good child, elder child, is not easy. It can never be easy. Because Mr. Oluwayomi, you were once like that. You were once a child. And I can imagine the type of wala you get. You get to your parents. You must be stubborn. Mr. is saying again, it's definitely the parents, even if the kids are spiritual influence, is still the fault of the parents. Another person said the parents. Okay, I think we all are on the same page now. Hence why it's advised to pray for future kids. Mr. Oluwayomi is going spiritual, and I think I will support you. Even before you start having your child, start praying for them. When they are in your womb, mothers, start praying for them. There are a lot of influences now, that a lot of things that can actually influence a child's behavior. Sincerely, it takes more than you monitoring them. It takes more than you speaking to them, which is, all those things are part of it. But also, go spiritual. The spiritual controls the physical every day, anywhere. Thank you, Mr. Oluwayomi. So everybody is blaming the parents. Train up a child the way it should go, and when it grows old, it will not depart from it. Proverbs 22 verse 6. Yeah. Train up a child the way it should go, so that as parents, when you are supposed to be resting, it is not then you will be running around. It is not when you are supposed to sit back and watch your child do well, and watch and sit down and reap the labor of that thing that you have sown into your child. It will not be the time that you'll be running from police station to another police station. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́, ẹ bá mi ṣàánú ọmọ yìí, ẹ bá mi. You understand what I'm saying? For you to avoid all those problems, then it is now when they are young, you should train them and bring them in the way of the Lord, so that when they are old, they will not depart from it. Thank you, Miss Gimo Olaide Bolu. Oluwaseun Abiodun says, we are all a reflection of what we see at home. I said something that children, like, it's a thorough comprehension when you're trying to compare between parents. Whatsoever you do, that is what you see your child doing. At least for the first stage of their life, when they are young, that is what you are, like a mirror to them. You are a mirror to them. That is very, very why it is important for you to know what you do in their presence, how you train them. Okay. When a child is doing good, oh God, I wish I'll be able to read all of these comments. When a child is doing good, the parent will take credit, and when it is opposite, the parent should also be blamed. This is coming from Mr. Ige. He said that, yeah, you can't possibly give a teenager 100% freedom under your roof to allow such kind of efforts. The girl is not even a teenager, safe. She's not a teenager yet. A GSS 1 student, and with the face of that child, she shouldn't be more than a 10-12-year-old girl. Okay, let's say at most 13. She's not even okay. That's a preteen. She's trying to enter to become a teenager. Even as a youth, I remember when I was in 100 level, I came home. My dad still beats me. I'm like, what's all this now? I'm a big girl. My dad should not to not talk of a JSS 1 girl. No. I have Oladipupo Mishori, my brother. Thanks for joining. It said both, depending on the situation at hand. Primarily, parents should show and train the child the way he or she should go, and I tell you that child won't depart when he or she is of age. Thank you. I have Ibitoye Dolakpo. I'm the judge. I would decline if I was a judge. I think that's what he wants to say. I would decline the case and tell the parents to go and do community service in the school, clean the toilets and cut grass. I have Adeshes on top on both, but most the parents. So, wow, everybody is blaming the parents, and for some reasons, also blame the child. Mr. Ibitoye Dolakpo said, may we ask the parents to go. He's referring to the story I shared in that case. Sincerely, in fact, as a policeman, they should even sack the man, because he's not portraying. Okay, I'm not in the best position to judge. They should not sack him. But what the father did is totally wrong. It is totally wrong. What morals is he teaching the child? What morals is he passing into the child? And even for every other student in that same school. I will say this lastly. The relationship between the parent and the child it's a determinant of how the child will adjust to life, to issues of life. Even when the child is growing up, the relationship, And that is more reason, I will always emphasize, is more reason why parents need to spend more time with their children. But so many parents are failed. Why? They use their job as an excuse of not doing what they are supposed to do. Their job has taken a lot of time. Many parents also have failed not because the lack of inadequacy or lack of love to their child, but because they procrastinate and they give warnings that they don't follow themselves. You are telling your child, don't steal, and you are the parent, you are a thief. So what are you teaching the child? Not to do, you can do this, but don't do what I'm doing. It's a lie. It doesn't work that way. Whatever you want to see in your child, do it in that child's presence. Be a replica example of what you want your child to become. The foundation of every child is very, very important, and it has a long way to go in the life of a child. In the society, when the child start having relationship with other people in the society. Oh wow. I think we've really come a long way on the show today. Okay, let me read this last comment before I go from Miss Ibitoye Dolapo. I remember when I was rude to someone in my area. The person reported to my parents. My father took me to apologize to the man the next day. Wow, that's very good. It didn't even stop at that. I fetch water and wet grass like I have stolen something. There are ways you can inculcate morals in children. For example, look at what Mrs. Dolapo said, that when she was young, she was rude to someone, and the father took her to beg the neighbor, and the father even gave him discipline. I mean punishment, and discipline him. There are good ways to inculcate morals in children. Wọ́n máa ní ọmọ tó bá dáa tó bí ẹni, eléyìí tí ò bá dáa tọmọ yẹn ni àbí. It's a lie. Whatever a child becomes, there's a way they will always refer back to the parent. They will like go and check the house the child comes out from. Ẹ lọ wo ilé tọmọ náà ti wá. Whether good or bad, they will always refer your children back to you. Sincerely, they will always refer your children back to you, whether good or bad, whether good behavior or bad behavior. So on this note, parents play a vital role in their children's development, and the success of every children will depend mainly on the foundation that has been imparted into them by their parents. Everybody have roles to play in the life of every little child around us. It might be your siblings, it might be your child, it might not be your child, but make sure you are imparting or putting positive morals into children around you, for whatsoever they see now will as effect on them in their future when they grow up. Like what the Bible says, like train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Those things as a way of ringing bell in their ears, even when they want to make the wrong mistakes of their life. Wow, I believe we've been able to gain one or two things on the show today. It's your show, The Broken. We talk about family because everybody comes out from a family, and it is when we get to the society and we interact with each other, we'll pass all of those things we have learned from one family or the other, and that is how we influence each other. So if we have been bad, we have bad behaviors from the family, that is what we are going to give to the family, to the society. We all must be careful of what we are bringing out of a family. As a father, as a mother, as children, we all have a role to play in our society. So I'll be bringing the show to an end today. I want to appreciate everybody that joined the show today. Help me like the show and share this video. Pass this information to one person, to another person, to your neighbor. And next week, tell somebody to watch the show, to join you on the show. I really want to appreciate everybody for your comments. Keep your comments rolling in. Like, keep it coming in. Keep it coming in. Until I see you next week, same time, same station. Bye.